Good morning, third graders. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. This is Tuesday, May 19th. May 19th. All right, you know what? When I'm recording this, it's really not Tuesday, May 19th, so I have to think about it. But you should be watching this on Tuesday, May 19th. Okay, here we go. We are getting back to fractions. Yesterday we talked about putting a fraction in its simplest form. Today, we are going to compare fractions and we're going to be asking ourselves, which one is bigger? Now, when you're looking at this chart, when you're looking at this, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be an easy lesson. I can just look at it and decide which one's bigger. In fact, I have some special, this is my own little fun mix of, I wish it was Kool-Aid. Have you guys had Kool-Aid ever before? I hope so. I mean, I hope you don't drink it every day, but it's kind of a fun treat. Anyway, if I'm showing you a red Kool-Aid and a green Kool-Aid, and I said, I'm gonna share this with you. I'm gonna give one of you, I don't want to pick on somebody because you'll think that you're super special, like more than all the other kids, and you are, maybe, I'm not sure. You're all special to me. So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna give one of these to Mingmei. She's my daughter. And I said, Mingmei, go ahead and take the bigger one. Well, if I'm gonna hold these, they're exact same size cup, and I'm gonna hold them right together. Can you guys tell which one has more in it? Okay, I'm gonna tell you that this is about 3/4 of a cup, and this is about 5/8 of a cup. Okay, we're gonna get back to that in a minute. 3/4, 5/8, which one's bigger? Well, you can tell because you can look at it and tell which one's bigger. But if I just said, oh, take the bigger one, and you say, I'm not sure which one's bigger, and I say, well, one's 3/4 and one is 5/8, figure it out. Well, I'm going to show you how you can figure it out without looking at pictures. But let's do a few pictures first. Let's look at our pictures. Let's start with this one. This one's the easiest one. Let's pretend these are sticks of butter. And I said that I'm going to shade in, this is 2/3, so I'm going to shade in 2/3 of that stick. And this is 1/2. I'm going to shade in 1/2 of that stick. Well, can you tell which one's bigger? Yes, I know you guys can. 2/3 is bigger, I'm gonna circle it, than 1/2. Okay, let's go to this one now. This stick of butter is divided into 8ths, okay, and I'm gonna shade in 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's shade 5/8 in. And then 3/4 of this stick I'm gonna shade in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you tell which one is bigger? If I cut off the shaded part, which one is more? 3/4 or 5/8? Ooh, that might help you with my Kool-Aid. Okay, 3/4 is more, isn't it? Okay, last one. If I said, give me 2/5 of that butter, let's go ahead and color in 2/5. And then give me 1/3. Let's make sure that you guys can see that really well, that is 2/5. Now it might be a little hard to tell on the camera, but I can definitely tell from this angle. Okay, can you tell which one's bigger? Yeah, 2/5. Now it's not much bigger, but it is bigger. It's the bigger fraction, so I'm gonna circle it. So the book, I'm not sure. I don't think this lesson today is going to have any pictures. I'm looking just to make sure. No, and it's only one page. It's only one page, but you have to do some calculations because you have to figure out which one is the bigger fraction. Now, if you remember last week, I showed you fractions like, let's just divide it into 4ths, okay? If you have the same denominator, you divide it into 4ths, okay? And I said, which is bigger, 1/4 or 2/4? If it has the same denominator, that you've cut it in equal parts, then you know that 2/4 is definitely more than 1/4. But when you have a different denominator and it's in its simplest form, you're not quite sure and you don't have any pictures, you may not know which is bigger. So I'm going to show you some tricks to finding that out. Finding it out without pictures. Which one is bigger? This should be a shorter video because we're just going to do a bunch of these together. Okay, let's look at the book. Let's get some examples from the book. Okay, if I have, let's start with this one, 7/8, and let's do a 3/4. I could try to draw a picture and see, but there's a much easier way to do it. See this denominator? It's 4 pieces. See this one? It's 8. What if I were to make this one the same as that? Then I could tell which one's bigger. So do you remember how to do that? How do I make this into an 8? I multiply it by 2, don't I? And remember, yesterday I said, if you're going to multiply this, if you multiply or divide your denominator, you have to do the exact same thing with your numerator. So I'm going to multiply it by 2. And what is that? 6. So this fraction is equivalent, it is the exact same amount as this one. So I'm going to circle this. Now I know which one is bigger. 6/8. Let's look at that. If I were to divide this into 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did it. Okay, and we did this one into 8s. And I colored in 7 pieces of this one. This one's 7/8. So I did 7 of those 8 pieces. And I colored in 6 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You can see, right, that this amount is bigger than that. 7/8 is bigger than 6/8. Okay, let's do a couple more. Okay, you're welcome. I want you to be doing these in your head with me. Let's say we have 2/3, 2/3, and 5/12. We might look at this and think, well, that's more, a lot more than 2. It's got to be the bigger one, but you won't know that for sure unless you get the same denominator. Okay, so how can we get 3 to match 12? How can we make it the same denominator? By multiplying, right? We're going to go this way. Multiplying it by what? 4. 3 times 4 is 12, right? So I'm going to do that. If I multiplied my denominator by 4, then I have to multiply my numerator. This is going to give me an equivalent fraction to 2/3. 2 times 4 is 8. Now, this is my equivalent fraction. I changed it so it has the same amount of pieces as this one. Now I can tell which one. Is 8/12? Is 8 pieces out of something that's divided into 12 pieces more than if I gave you 5 pieces out of 12? Yes, it is. So then 2/3 is bigger than 5/12, and that's what you would write. Okay, in your book, it's going to give you 3 fractions, which is really fun, and they want you to put them in order. So let's see how we would do that. They want you to figure out which one is the smallest fraction, the next biggest, and then the largest fraction. So let's do one. Let's do this one. It's 2/3 and 3/4 and 7/12. Okay, and I want you to start with the smallest and put it on this line. I don't know which one's the smallest. They all are divided into different pieces. So I need to make these all the same pieces that they're divided into. How do I make 4 into 12? How do I make something that's cut into 4 pieces? How do I make it 12 pieces now? I multiply it by 3, right? So if I'm multiplying, so I'm just gonna go ahead and in my head, I know that 4 times 3 is 12, right? So I could write it right here next to it. What's 3 times 3? 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so now I know that 3/4 is the same as 9/12. I really should be showing you those in a different color. Then you'll see that better. 3/4 is the same as 9/12. Okay, now I'm gonna have to multiply this by something different, right? To get 12. What is 3 times what is 12? 3 times 4 this time. So now I'm multiplying it by 4. If I multiply 3 times 4, I have to multiply 2 times 4. And 2 times 4 is 8. Now I can see which ones are bigger. What's my smallest one? My smallest one is going to be 7/12. So I'm going to write that here. What's my next bigger? What's the bigger one after that? Well, it would be 8/12, right? And then the largest would be 9. Whoops. Okay, now this is this is really good because I don't want to write it like that. In fact, you will get it wrong if you write it like that. So make sure you don't do that. My original numbers were 3/4 and 2/3. Ooh. So I'm looking at the red and I have to write what my original fraction was. So if you want, if this makes it easier for you, I'm gonna go ahead and write that. This is my first one, and then this is my second one, and this is my third. So when I write it here, I know what to write. 7/12 is my first. My second is 8/12, but that's not what the number is. The number is actually 2/3, so I'm gonna write it like that. And then the last one was 9/12. It's the largest amount, but it was actually 3/4. Okay, so that's how I would write it out. Let's do one more so that you guys know what you're doing, okay? I'm gonna do one that's not in the book. I'm gonna make it up. I hope I can make it up and not, and do it correctly. Let's do 2/5 and let's do a 15. Can I do that? Yeah, I can. Let's do 9/15. Okay. So we've got 2/5, 9/15, and let's do. This one's gonna be 2/3. Let's make this 3/5. Okay. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I could guess just like you do, but I'm gonna do the formula, which is multiplication. So let's start here. Well, first of all, let's look at it. Which one is divided into the most pieces? Yes, this one, the 15. So we need to get these to equal 15. We need these denominators down, right? We need to divide them into 15 pieces as well. So let's start with this one. 5 times what is 15? 5 times 3. So we're gonna, let's do it in a different color. We're gonna multiply this by 3. So if I multiply 5 by 3, I get 15. And if I multiply 5 times 3, I have to multiply my numerator by 3. What is 3 times 3? Yes, it's 9. Ooh, look at that. You know what we're gonna do? I'm sorry. I'm gonna change this to 10/15. No, let's make it 11/15, okay? Okay, so we have 11/15, 3/5, 2/3. But now we know that 3/5 is the same as 9/15. So So far, we know that this number, 3/5, is less than 11/15. Okay, here we go. We got to get 3 now, don't we? 3 needs to become 15 pieces. And so what do we multiply? 3 times what equals 15? Yes, 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is, oops, wrong pen. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, good. 2 times 5. What's 2 times 5, class? 10. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 5 is 10. Now we can do our investigation. Which one's the smallest? This one is the smallest, isn't it? So this one is going to be my number 1 that I'm going to write down here on my line because I start with the smallest. 3/5 is the smallest. Because 9/15, right, is smaller than 10/15 and 11/15. Okay, which one is the next largest? In the middle. It would be 10/15. What is that number here? 2/3. So we're going to write 2/3. And then our last one was 11/15. There, they're in the right order. I put commas in between all of those. You don't have to, but I did. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, rewind the tape, watch it again, or call me. Okay, you have something else on your assignment? Just like yesterday, I'm gonna give you credit for this. So if you don't do this, then it's gonna be -1 for sure. In your book, at the top, I want you to write, multiplication is my friend. Did you know that? It is. This is why Mrs. Simonowski is having you multiply, multiply, multiply. Because if you know how to multiply, these will be much easier for you. And so will division. Okay, so you're gonna write multiplication is my friend at the top of your exercise 35. That is actually worth a point. So I hope that you watch to the end, you write that, and have a great day. Go out and ride your bike today. I'm assuming it's gonna be a nice day on Tuesday. All right, thanks guys.